News when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Monica Ricks. President Trump says a missing airman is safe and sound after U.S. forces rescued him in a daring mission in Iran. The CIA actually helped track him down in a mountainous area. Defense analyst Mick Mulroy called it risky.
It is dangerous because we will take a lot of risks to recover an isolated person, which means that we will fly lower. We may also insert troops onto the ground.
And that's exactly what they did. The New York Times says the operation involved hundreds of special operation troops with U.S. aircraft dropping bombs and firing on Iranian convoys to keep them away from the airman's hiding area. He was extracted by Navy SEAL Team 6 commandos. The president says he suffered some injuries but will be just fine. The other crew member on board the jet was saved earlier. President Trump also posted a profanity-filled message on social media threatening to strike Iran's civilian infrastructure Tuesday if it doesn't reopen the Strait of Hormuz on Monday. But Democratic Senator Tim Kaine of Virginia says the president needs to dial back the rhetoric.
This is all embarrassing and juvenile, and it's people trying to act like they're puffed up and tough when what we really see from the administration in this war is the absence of a plan, the absence of a clear rationale, no effort to get allies on board, and thus deep unpopularity of this war with the American public.
Senator Kaine on NBC's Meet the Press. He's also on the Senate Armed Services Committee and says members will be reviewing the president's $1.5 trillion defense budget request this week. The Trump administration has revoked the green cards or U.S. visas of at least 4 Iranian nationals connected to the current or former Iranian government, including 2 who've been detained now by immigration authorities. The State Department says the niece and grandniece of former Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps Chief Qasem Soleimani will be deported soon. He was killed in 2020. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskiy says he's ready to meet Russian President Vladimir Putin for negotiations to end the war between their countries.
We are ready to come. I always said that we are ready for the meeting on the level of leaders in any kind of format.
Zelenskiy making those comments after meeting with Turkey's president yesterday in Istanbul. A U.S. delegation, including Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, is expected to meet with Ukraine later this month. OPEC Plus members are set to meet later this morning and plan to raise oil production next month as the war in Iran drags on. The conflict has crimped output and tied up shipments of some of the alliance's key members in the Strait of Hormuz. And it's caused oil prices to skyrocket since late February, with Brent crude topping $109 a barrel on Friday. The Iranian military says major oil producer Iraq is now exempt from shipping restrictions in Hormuz. We get more on that from Bloomberg's Ed Kalegi.
It's a potentially significant move for global crude supplies. In an Arabic language video statement published by state-run Islamic Republic news agency, Iran's military spokesman said brotherly Iraq is exempt from any restrictions we have imposed on the Strait of Hormuz. The declaration has the potential to unleash as much as 3 million barrels a day of Iraqi oil cargoes. An Iraqi official, however, cautioned that the usefulness of the exemption will depend on whether shipping companies are willing to risk entering the strait to collect cargoes. Ed Kalegi, Bloomberg Radio.
Several airports in Italy have also issued advisories of limited fuel supplies for the next few days due to the conflict in the Middle East. Those restrictions are among the earliest instances of fuel shortages in Europe that are impacting operations since this war started. Wall Street will finally react to the latest job numbers tomorrow, which blew past expectations on Friday. U.S. payrolls rose by 178,000, and the unemployment rate edged lower to 4.3%. Traders are also looking ahead to a light week of earnings with a focus on inflation, and economists expect a full percentage point jump in Friday's March Consumer Price Index after a month of war. The Writers Guild of America has announced a tentative deal with major studios in Hollywood. Their contract is set to expire in a month, but the two sides agreed to a new 4-year deal yesterday that includes better health benefits, protections against AI, and higher fees and residuals for streaming. Later today, South Carolina and UCLA will play for the NCAA Women's Basketball Championship. But last night, the men locked in their spots, and UConn will play for its 3rd national title in 4 years after beating Illinois 71-62. Michigan also topped Arizona 91-73. The Wolverines play for their first title in decades tomorrow. And that's news when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Monica Ricks, and this is Bloomberg.